Hey guys, this is Claudia of the Alexandrite system. So we're doing a part 2 of our trans and DID video because someone left a comment on our video with the Gianu system that really got us thinking about some things. I'm just going to read that comment for you now. This viewer writes, "For the population which lies within the intersection of the multiple and trans non-binary spheres, I would be very interested in how varied the possible relationships between the two timelines might be regarding inkling, realization, acceptance, and action. For example, is there a correlation between starting HRT, which reduces dysphoria, clearing the counter for taking on the tasks of other internal challenges, and system recognition? Or does it occur more frequently that system recognition prompts action with regards to medical or just social transition?" And if that ain't a college essay if I ever heard one. So obviously I can only speak to my own experience, but also I can fill in some gaps with stories from other systems that we know of and what they have shared with us. For us, I think the two identities kind of weave back and forth. So we first realized that we were trans around 19, though at the time I think I was only really able to approach it as the idea of I'm just a cross-dresser. I'm not trans, I just like wearing women's clothing. Which, like, obviously there are people out there who just like wearing women's clothing. That wasn't us, though. Though I am realizing that around that time we had a few different moments where it was that system experience of why did I say or do that, and why don't I remember this thing right now that I definitely should remember. There were actually a couple of different times where either someone was out or someone was blended in, and we couldn't remember basic information about our girlfriend at the time. So we came out to ourselves and some people close to us in 2013, basically. But we didn't go on hormones until 4.5 years later, late 2017. And I do feel there was an ability to sort ourselves out a bit more. I know that Sandra said that she didn't have an internal perception of what she looked like for a long time until we started hormones. And I can agree with that sort of feeling. I also feel like Camilla probably didn't have much of her own identity until we came out at work, which was like 6 months after that. Something I've discussed a lot is that with trans stuff, it's sort of this chicken and egg thing. Do we have a lot of women in our system because we're trans, or are we trans because we have a lot of women in our system? And really, I don't think that question has an actual answer. I do feel, though, that once we had a more feminine appearance, we felt more comfortable being ourselves. I think it was almost a case of, I don't have to pretend to be a boy anymore. I don't have to pretend to be anyone but me anymore. Except each of us had very different ideas about what pretending to be anyone but me looked like. Also, one of our first inklings about being a system, the one we listed in our how we found out we had DID video, was our trip to go see our mother in New Jersey. And I'm just now realizing the significant thing about that trip was that it was the first time we were seeing extended family since coming out fully. So those two things are definitely intertwined in that way as well. We do definitely know systems, though, who didn't call themselves anything but cis until after they discovered their system. I think it's the Gianu system on Twitter who said that they now consider their body to be non-binary since they have both men and women in their system. So yeah, we can only speak to our own experiences there, but if anyone in the comments wants to share their own experiences with this, we would love to hear it. So to close out this video, I wanted to tell a little story. It's sort of a trans story, sort of an HRT update. And when I start to tell this story, you're going to immediately think I'm a dumbass, but you gotta stick with me. So I was on TikTok. I know, stick with me. And I came across this video by this trans woman who was saying that if you're swallowing your estradiol pills, you're actually taking them in an incredibly ineffective way. The way that they're supposed to be done is you're supposed to stick them under your tongue and dissolve them, or stick them in your cheek and dissolve them, because that way it goes directly into your bloodstream. Otherwise, it gets dissolved by a bunch of stomach acid, and then even more of it gets attacked by the liver, and you're not getting all of the actual hormone that you should be getting. So I gotta stop and say, if you're about to go and switch the way that you change your meds, hang on, don't do that just yet. So I Googled around to make sure that this was true because of course I did. I'm not taking medical advice from TikTok without knowing if that's true. And I found out that it is true. So I scheduled an appointment with my doctor for an HRT checkup, and in the meantime I started taking my meds in this new way. I started dissolving them under my tongue. So a couple weeks go by and I have my appointment, and I got blood work done before it, and so the doctor opens. It's a new doctor that we're seeing because the last one was condescending and weird. It's a whole thing. She opens this conversation by saying, "So about your blood work, I need to ask, are you supplementing the hormones we give you with anything? Like, are you on street hormones, or are you importing something from a different country?" And I said, no. And she said, "Do you promise?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" And she said, "Because your estrogen levels are sky high, like 5 to 7 times what they should be. So I wonder why all of the sudden I would have just a shit ton more estrogen than I had before. It will forever be a mystery." But here's the thing, I was at a gigantic risk of blood clots, which probably explains a couple of times where I felt like I was going to pass out standing up, or like the couple of weird palpitations I got. So I could have died. So kids, don't change your medicine without talking to your doctor, because you could die. I could have straight up died. But anyway, she says to me, "So I want to take down your dosage by like half." And I said, "Well, I'm looking to switch to patches or injections anyway." And she said, "Oh, well, yeah, that's a lot easier, actually." So we're on the patch now. Got one on here. And in like a month, if everything's still going okay, we're going to start progesterone, which is cool, because apparently that can help with not just breast growth, which is what I know it for, but also libido and mood, which I didn't know that I could, work with hormones. So yeah, like, load me up. So yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Don't fuck with your meds without asking your doctor. I'll see you next time, guys.